Now, where is that winch control on the Futaba 7PXR? We will find it today. Futaba has released new firmware for the 7PXR 7PX transmitters. So open up a browser, go to google.com, in the search box type in Futaba USA and hit enter. Scroll down till you see Futaba USA, click on software downloads. Now if you didn't see the software downloads on the previous page, go to futabausa.com, go to product support software downloads. You can now click on transmitters, locate 7PXR 7PX, click on version 10.1, this will be the firmware. This firmware will now download to your hard drive, which is in the downloads folder. Click on the PDF instructions because you'll need the PDF instructions in order to update the firmware on your transmitter. So in basic terms, you'll extract the zip file on your computer. It will create a Futaba folder. You will copy that folder over to a micro SD card. Yes, you will need a micro SD card in order for this to work. You'll then take the micro SD card and insert that into your 7PXR or 7PX transmitter. When you power on the transmitter, hold the home button. This will automatically start the firmware update process. So once the firmware update process is complete, you can power down your transmitter, remove the micro SD card from the slot. Once you repower up the transmitter after the firmware update, you will now have a new function called winch mixing. Also, none of the models on your transmitter will have been touched by this new firmware. I have confirmed this. And mine were all still working fine. Welcome to Henry's RC Garage. Today we are going to set up a winch on this transmitter. Futaba released a new firmware update for the 7PX and 7PXR where it now includes a winch function or winch mixing, where you can program one of the DT switches for a winch in and winch out, where it acts like a momentary when you let go of the switch. Go to the menu and we will look for our newly installed firmware information, and you can see where the version number is now at 10.0.E. So now we're going to go back to the main menu and we're going to click on mixing menu. On here we're going to click the right arrow one time, and now you'll see where it says winch mixing. We're going to click on that, and you will see here it's currently turned off. We're going to turn it on, and we're going to assign it to a channel. So my current winch is on channel 4. Okay, so now we have the winch in 100 and the winch out 100. I'm going to change the winch in because I like my winch to come in a little slower than normal, not as fast as going out. So we're going to change it to 30. And we're going to go back to the winch mixing button here and click on mixing menu, and now we're back at the main menu again, and we're going to click on the linkage menu so that we can assign it a DT switch. We click the right arrow one time and we go to the trim dial select. Now on here, DT4 is currently set up for channel 4. We're going to change that to winch. So we're going to click on the right arrow until we see the word winch. And there you see it's at the bottom of this little menu here. It says winch. We're going to click on it. Okay, now it's assigned to DT4. So now we're going to change the 2 here, and we're going to increment that up to 100 so that we have full movement. And now we will click the trim dial select, click the linkage menu, and now we'll click the menu again. We're going to test this out and show how this works. We'll go to user menu. We'll hit the right arrow until we see servo view. We're going to click servo view here. It's at the bottom. And now you'll see all of our channels here. So since I selected channel 4 for my winch, and I set that up for the winch mix-in, and I changed my DT switch 4 to winch, I now should be able to hit the button, the DT4 button, up, and it should be my winch in. You see how it changes up top to plus 30? And now if I hit the down of that DT switch, it'll go in the negative 100 direction. I let go, it stops. This is a pretty cool thing that Futaba has done with this current firmware. Now you do not need to set up, or if you have set up your current 7PX or 7PXR with 2 channels to do your winch, now you only need to have 1 channel for your winch. Okay, so I noticed that when I hit the DT4 switch to do my winch in, I had to lift up on or push up on it. I want to be able to push down on it. That pushing down on it to me tells me I'm moving it in. If I push up on it, that means it's telling me I'm going out. So we're going to change that real quick. And we're going to go over here to servo view. We're going to go to trim dial select. And we're going to click on switch, and we're going to change that from NOR to reverse to REV. So now when I go back to my user menu and I go down to servo view and I click my DT switch 4 up, it's going to go in my winch out direction. And there you go, it's going to go to the negative 100. And if I do my winch in and I push down on the button, it's going to go in to the plus 30. And there we go. Now we have our winch set up on a DT4 switch, and we have a winch where now it is on a momentary when we let go of the button, so that way there's no damage done, and you don't have to hit the button again or hit another button to stop it. So we're going to go back to the servo view, click on user menu, and we're going to go back to the main menu. And now that we're here, we're going to test our winch in our truck. So let me put a battery in it, get it started, and I will be right back. All right, I am back now. I've got my battery in my truck and I got the truck turned on. First thing I got to do is I got to reverse the channel so that when I press my DT switch, it goes in the right direction that I want it to go. So I'm going to go to menu. I'm going to go to linkage menu, and I'm going to do channel reverse, and I'm going to change my channel 4 to do a reverse. So I'm going to go back to my linkage menu, main menu, and I'm going to click on my user menu, and I'm going to click the right arrow until I get over to the servo view so that we can see this display when I do the winch out. So I'm going to press up on my DT switch, DT4 switch. See how that comes out? And when I let go of the button, it stopped. So now if I press the button to go in, and I let go of the button, it's going to stop. Let me do this one more time. And I let go of the button, it stops. Now we've tested it. Now we're ready to go and do some winching if we ever have to. Now that we've got our winch set up on digital trim switch number 4, we can take this a step further and use our throttle to do the winch in. I don't know about you, but I only got 2 hands, and the way it works for me on this transmitter is I'm going to need a 3rd hand to do the winch, or to do the steering, or even to do the throttle. So what we're going to do is we're going to use conditions to set up to where we can use the throttle to do the winch in. So let's set that up. So let's go into menu, click on linkage, click on the right arrow one time. You'll see the word condition, click on that. Where it's currently turned off, we are going to turn it on. And now you'll see condition 1 and condition 2, and we can name these anything we want. I'm going to do that now. I'm going to name mine to normal, and I'm going to name condition number 2 to winch with throttle. So now we're going to change this one here to normal, which is condition number 1. So let's write the word normal. and hit condition name to go back one. And now we're going to click on condition 2, and we're going to change that to winch with throttle. So click on the BS button here, and we will type in winch space W for the width, and then we're going to type the word throttle out. Oops. And click condition name to go back. And now we're going to assign a switch to this. So we're going to go here, down here and click on switch select. I'm going to use PS3. PS3 is right here, and this is like a button. So you depress in, you need to press out. So now we're going to assign PS3, and we're going to select condition 1, 2 right here. So we're going to select that. You see right here, 1, 2. So now when you click on, when you depress it in, it's going to go to winch with throttle. You undepress it, it's going to go to normal mode. So let's go back, click on switch select, condition, linkage menu, and now we're going to go to the mixing menu, and we're going to type in we're going to go to our winch mixing. And now you'll see here where it's currently set up where we previously set it up. So if I do the condition number 2, we can go in here and we can change this to what we want. So now I'm going to change the winch in to 30. Let's just, you know what? Let's just change it to 20 to make a difference, just to make it a difference here in the, whoops. And we're going to change out, which is winch out, to 0, because we don't want, when we hit reverse, we don't want it to winch out on us. That'll cause an issue. So now we're going to change throttle to winch to a negative 100. And now we're going to test this using our servo view and our truck. So we're going to winch mixing, go back here, and we're going to go to change our to normal mode. We're going to go to user menu, and we're going to go over until we see servo view. Now when you look at the throttle, it's just the throttle or reverse for condition 1. So I'm going to change this to condition 2, and then you'll see how it, when I hit reverse, it does nothing to the winch. There's nothing here going on. So now let's go back to condition 1, and let's change for the winch out a little bit. Okay, so now go to condition 2. I'm going to click on the throttle, or press the throttle, and it should winch in about negative 18, around there. So now I have a winch in when I hit the throttle. So let me winch out a little bit. We'll go to winch in, and we'll press the throttle again. And there you have it. We have set up our throttle to do the winch in. Wait, there's more. You can set a winch up using throttle via the digital trim switches. So let's do that now. Go to menu, click on linkage menu, click on the right arrow one time, click on trim dial select, and now we're going to look for a trim dial select that we can find, and we don't have any available, so we're going to use DT5 dual rate. I'm not using dual rate, so we can use this. So I'm going to click on dual rate. I'm going to find mix, winch mix, throttle to winch. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to change the 2-step to 100. I'm going to change NOR to REV to reverse the switch. So when I press the switch forward, it goes to a negative 100. So let's test this out. We're going to click trim dial select, linkage menu, we're going to click on user menu. We're going to click the right arrow until we see servo view. And you'll see here that I have throttle and there's nothing tied to it right now. So now I'm going to winch out using my digital trim switch number 4 that we set up earlier. And I'm going to take my DT5 switch we just set up. I'm going to press it forward for a negative 100. I'm going to press my throttle to go forward, and my winch should spool in. And it does. Deactivate that by pushing the switch back one more time. Now I'm going to winch out. I'm going to winch in by pressing the DT5 switch out to a -100, and I'm going to throttle forward. And I'm going to deactivate that by moving the switch back to +0. And that's how you set up a winch with throttle to winch using a digital trim switch on this remote. If you've been this far in the video, thank you. We've set up our winch on digital trim system before, and we've set up our winch to use the throttle where we don't have to have 3 hands to run the winch, the throttle, and the steering. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I will catch you on the next one.